All right, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy, as we've been talking about in Washington this week, set to meet with President Biden tomorrow at the White House. The war continues to rage, Ukraine and Russia, and U.S. officials have been warning now for weeks that the aid money to Ukraine is about to run out. So let's try to put all of this in context ahead of the Zelenskyy-Biden meeting with Bill Taylor, who's the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. And we thank you, Ambassador, for joining us today. What do you think a win would be, or maybe better said, what's the best argument to secure a win for President Zelenskyy in Washington this week?
Connell, he'll be there to make the case that, number one, it's very important not only to Ukraine, not only to Europe, but also to the United States, that Ukraine win this war in some real sense. And he'll talk, I'm sure, about what winning is. But that's his first point. It's our interest. It's the United States' interest. The second point he'll make, after he thanks us for what he has already done, he thanks the Americans, thanks the Congress, thanks the administration for all the support that the Americans have already provided. He will say, he can win. He will say, if you provide us this assistance, we can push the Russians out. And that's his winning, just pushing the Russians out. He says, we can do that. We've learned some things this year about what works and what doesn't work on the battlefield. The Russians have learned some things about what works and what doesn't. And he thinks with our support, he can move it forward. All
right, there's some pushback, as you know, from Republicans, especially the United States, on that very point. I'll get to that at the moment. First to Zelenskyy today, ahead of his Biden meeting. He was speaking at the National Defense University in Washington, D.C. I think he was trying to appeal to soldiers there that might have been through something similar in their own battles over the years. And here's what he said. Take a listen.
Every one of you here understands what it means for a soldier to wait for munition, waiting for weeks, months, without knowing if support will come at all. Every one of you with command experience knows what it means when instead of moving forward, you are just watching, waiting for armor or equipment while your enemy is satisfied and preparing for assaults.
So that is the appeal. You know, you guys know what it's like. You've been out there. You know what it's like. But to the point you were making there a moment ago, Ambassador Taylor, I want to go back to the comments. We played a short clip from them, from J.D. Vance, Senator from Ohio. And the headline from that, this is the headline's actually from The Hill, from Vance, saying that Senate Republicans say the U.S. needs to accept Ukraine will, quote, cede some territory to Russia, which seems to me to go against to what you were saying, which is the argument, yeah, we can still win. Pick up on that if you can.
It goes directly against the argument. And when you ask the Ukrainians if they are ready to stop, if they're ready to give up in the face of the Russians, when the Ukrainians know that they still are going to fight on, they're not ready to give up. And so for some American or some European to say to the Ukrainians, you should just give up because you can't make it, they don't believe it. They don't believe it, Connell. They are ready to fight. They just need our support.
Our support has gotten them, or helped to get them to this point. I mean, you talk to people in Ukraine, they will tell you that. They're thankful. They're very, very grateful for all the money that's been spent by the United States. But people here in the United States, more and more so, the polling shows, are growing weary of this and think that maybe we're spending too much money. The Financial Times did a poll on that, on spending. And what they found is that 48% of the people they surveyed, the Financial Times poll said, we're spending too much. 27% right amount, 11% not spending enough. So what would you say to those people who here are Americans to say, you know what, we don't have this kind of money. We're spending too much on this war. What's you know it as well as anybody. You know the area. What do you say to people in this country who make that argument to you?
It's a very simple statement, Connell. It's a very simple statement. That is, what we are providing to the Ukrainians is 5% of our annual defense budget. 5% of our defense budget is going to the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are taking on one of our two major adversaries, and in this case, enemies. So for 5% of our defense budget, the Ukrainians have have decimated the Russian army. Their ground force has been cut in half by the Ukrainians. There are no American soldiers in Ukraine. There are no American soldiers fighting in Ukraine. And for 5%, sir, we can do this. Of course we can do this. 5% of the defense budget, and the Ukrainians are pushing the Russians back. That is, we can afford that.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.